Hey everyone, welcome to your next booty class via my telephone straight to you. Unfortunately, I've just tried for like a half an hour to figure out how to put some music on, but my iPad's not charging, can't play it through my phone. My computer doesn't want to connect. Nothing seems to be working for me this morning, which is not new, me and technology. So we're just going to go ahead and do a class. I have no idea how long it'll be because I don't have a clock. But even though I'm not totally prepared, we're just gonna move and I'm gonna feel better and you're gonna feel better in about 45 minutes. So let's take the arms up. We'll just open and close. You can go seated. I'm on my knees. And then once you're circling through the wrist, you're gonna start circling through the shoulders too. You can take these big sweeping circles, start opening up through the chest, start moving through the spine. And then we'll take the hands to the back, place it around the sacrum, and give yourself a little massage here. Now roll the shoulders back and away from the ears. Open up the chest. Lift and lower through the chin. Keep the chin back at neutral and just gaze right to left. Make sure the shoulders are still working down away from the ears. And then we'll release the hands. Do a little flexion, extension across the wrist. And flip the palms. Open up the fingertips. Lots of weight down into the palms. Try to keep them fully planted and just move around on them. We're going to go opposite side. So flip the fingertips forward, open the fingertips up wide. Same thing, push weight down into the palms. Keep them connected to the floor. And then we're going to come back up through center. Inhale, palms lift, take opposite elbow. Just lift and lower through the heart. Start expanding across the rib cage. Finding your breathing. Use your exhales to contract and empty. This time we'll hold the contraction and then find some little circles across the rib. Try to isolate just at the base of the rib cage. Keep circling as you bring the palms out, palms flipped up. And then we'll hold the center, hold the ribs in. Just do a little bicep curl straight towards fingertip to shoulder. Keep that movement, but start bringing the hands in front of the body. Then we're going to take the fingertips to the same side shoulder. Inhale as we lift, exhale as we pull back. You're back in that rounding action through the spine. But this time you're starting to work a little bit more through the shoulder girdle as well. And then we'll hold with the arms open. Just do a little tick-tock right to left. I always like to follow with my gaze. If you're on your knees here, you can start releasing the hip a little bit, slowing it down, getting a deeper stretch across the side body. So as one elbow goes up, that same side hip goes down. Ooh, got some nice back cracks this morning. And then holding it center, circles the elbows just around the shoulder line. Your fingertips are on your deltoids. Feel the deltoids firing up. And then we'll release. Take the hands back out. Give the toes a little tap in quadruped. And then tuck the toes under and push weight back into the feet. You can move the hips around. Coming back up through quadruped, get a little twist in the spine. Inhale, one palm lifts. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale, lift. Exhale, through. The hips are staying squared. You're rotating from the torso. You're rotating with the ab muscles. The hand that's on the ground is pushing you away from the floor, keeping the length in the body. Let's go one more each side. And then we'll come back through center and just a little baby's puppies pose, little baby puppies pose. So don't force anything. You do want to keep the gaze forward. You're trying to open up through the whole thoracic cage, which means my head goes down, I lose that stretch. So we want gaze forward. We want weight pushing down through the arms, through the chest. Let's take one more deep breath here. And then we'll exhale, shift our hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck up into the rib cage, and find a little right, center, left rib crunch. You can see my spine, it's not going into an arch. I'm staying neutral, and then I'm tucking the front ribs, the front belly up towards the spine. I'm finding a deep belly crunch here. And then coming back through center. Let's inhale, exhale, one palm, one foot, and release back through center. It is a quick breath. It's to get our heart rate up a little bit. So try to keep following your inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Push the back heel towards the wall behind you. Make sure you're firing up the glute muscles. Let's go one more each side. And then we'll come back through center. Walk the weight onto the toes. And then you can kind of lean back. You'll feel a nice stretch across the hip flexors here. Close the abs off. Make sure they're nice and tight, holding strong. Palms can reach forward if you want to lean back a little farther. Keep breathing, keep reaching. Inhale, palms lift. And then both hands are going to go behind the head. I interlace my fingers. Take the pinky to the occiput and lift up to open the front body. Feel a nice stretch across the triceps. And then you can bring it all the way down. Let's go into our downward facing dog. Plant the index fingers forward. Walk the feet back. Cover the space of your mat and release the hips right to left. You can have the gaze follow too, adding a deeper twist along the spine. And then we'll hold the center. We're going to take a big roll through the body, going all the way to plank, not going to cobra yet. You're just starting at the toes and rolling all the way through the crown, keeping the legs and the arms long. Feel the space being created. You're lubricating through the spine. This time we're going to add a big twist. So as I roll forward, the right foot's going to come to the outside. Inhale, right palm up. And then exhale, sweep it back to our downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, roll forward, left palm lifts. Exhale, back to downward facing. We'll go 2 more each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And this time the left foot stays forward, but we're going to bring the palm down, step the back foot to center and open up into a wide straddle. Find some movement in the hips, some movement in the legs. Open up the toes, maybe wiggle around, go heel toe, blade of the foot, arch of the foot. And then we'll plant the entire foot down, lift nice and long through the spine, pull the sits bones back, lengthen the crown of the head, and find a circle just on the rib cage. So you can see that I'm barely moving. It's just the front ribs tucking in and up. Don't lose the connection of the feet into the floor. Feel the inner thighs lifting and lengthening. Let's go for 3, 2. Now hold the ribs in. Use your butt muscles to bring the hands up and behind the head. Do a teeny tiny, it's like a good morning, but a teeny tiny good morning. You're just going above the hip line and below the hip line. It's very small. Make sure the glutes are fired up. You're still contracting the belly muscles. 3, 2. And then if you want, you can go a little bit bigger. Test my range of motion. Go all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Don't use the back muscles so much here. You're stabilizing with the back and the core, but I'm using my butt muscles and the push through my feet to move. 1 more, staying at the top this time. Inhale, palms reach. The right hand's going down the leg. The left side is going to create this big stretch across the side body. And then we'll inhale back through center. Exhale, opposite, left hand down, right arm reaches. And back through center. Sapana Mudra, big circles to the top of the rib cage, to the upper back. Let's go a few in the opposite direction. 2, and forward fold. Big sway through the body. Keep your feet planted. Now you're doing more of a push from the foot into the glute muscles. Basically a lunge right to left. And then hands to the top of the mat. Step it through your plank. Now you're going to add a couple push-ups. I always lower my knees, abs in, heart open. Focus on the back muscles, focus on the lift into the core. And then we'll take it straight to our child's pose. Toes are together, knees are wide. Even though there's no music, I'm still dancing. Inhale as you roll forward, add a push-up. Exhale as you roll back. Connect that vertebrae by vertebrae roll, all the way lengthening through the crown of the head. 1 more time. Come all the way down to the mat. Inhale up through cobra. And then release it back to the floor. Take the thumbs, just do a little tap to the shoulder. Feel the contraction of the back muscles working. Float the left toes. And then switch, float the right toes. And then let's float both toes. 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, reach the fingertips forward. Keep holding, find the length. Flex the toes, push the toes down. And then you're adding this big pull through the back body, through the lats, and extend. Focus on lifting up through the heart. Keep the legs active. 3, 2. Bring the hands out wide. Big rolls through the body. You can release the legs here, or you can keep them a little active with the toes tucked under. Your choice. Find the breath. Open up through the front ribs. 1 more inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. Palms placed underneath. Reverse plank into our downward facing and shake it out. Big shakes, pushing from the balls of the feet, just releasing the fascia, releasing the muscles off the bones. And then we'll hold static. Find a roll through the shoulders. So if you can see my scapula moving, hopefully, away from the spine and then toward the spine, feels like there. And you're finding all those muscles around the shoulder girdle. 2 and 1. Let's bend the knees. Step or hop hips distance. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Now inhale to chair. And then straight to a fold again. Exhale. Inhale, chair. Work through the hamstrings. Exhale, fold. Let's go 3 more. Make sure you're pushing through the feet. You're finding the glute muscles. You're expanding the back of the knee joints. Since I'm talking, I lost count. Let's go 1 more. From your fold, inhale to a flat back. Exhale, step it through your chaturanga. Cobra. And back to our downward facing dog. Bend the knee, step or hop up. This time we're going to open up the toes into a Malasana hover. Squeeze the outside of your glute muscles. Make sure the knees are pointing out, the toes are pointing out. Maybe walk your hands in a little closer to the feet. Keep lifting through the heart. I'm at my hover. I'm not at my stretch. I'm still holding in the muscles. Inhale, palms up overhead. And then exhale, bring the toes forward and try to come all the way down into your stretch. Now you can bring your knees in here. You can round through the spine. You can keep it lifted, whatever feels good for you here. I like to sometimes flip my palms and get a little saddle grip on my ankles. Then I can use that to wiggle myself a little farther down. We're going to exhale and release into a hollow hold on the back. So we come here, squeeze. Now you're making these big arches with the hands reaching above the head and then pinkies towards the thigh. Try to keep the low back down. Keep squeezing into the abdominals. 3, 2. Now the feet are going to plant, hips distance, fingertips to center, crunch straight up. If you need to adjust, like if your pants are falling off, or if you need to readjust to get the low back down, make sure you do that so we're focusing on our abs. We're not letting the back pop up. 3, 2, hold your crunch, then take these little side crunches right to left. Keep pushing down to the feet. Keep checking in with the back body. When I don't have music going, I really catch myself repeating and notice how much I repeat. It's okay. It's all good information. Hold it center. Right foot's flexing up, left foot is out, and then you're going to bring them in and extend opposite side. I'm still using this movement as a crunch, so my low back is in. I'm looking for a full extension, having to squeeze my muscles to get it there. Let's go for a few more. My abs are kind of burning. And then both heels are going up, hands to the back. Kick the heel straight toward the ceiling. I shouldn't say kick, actually. You're lifting. Try not to use momentum. You're using the low core pelvic floor. And notice that my feet are not going way back behind me. I'm not rolling. I'm lifting up using my ab muscles. So shoot the heels straight towards the ceiling. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees down into the chest. Now you can release the low back from the mat. Find some nice movements. Massage out the sacrum area. And then we'll put the hands on the floor. I like to hold this 90. If you need more support, you can go hands flat on the floor. Squeeze the legs together. Keep energy in the feet and just start moving the knees right to left. Now, not momentum. I am going a little quick, but I'm not using momentum. I'm trying to find the core muscles, the side body muscles, the low back, using all that, connecting into the hips, getting a nice twist through the torso. Maybe you can start letting the knees go closer to the mat. You're trying to keep the shoulders down to the floor. And then we'll come back through center and we'll just roll directly on the spine. Hopefully it feels good to roll directly on the spine. If it doesn't, then you can roll right to left of the spine. Still getting a nice roll through the muscles. Cross the ankles, find quadruped. This time from quadruped, index fingers are forward, you wrap into the shoulders, lift into the core and float the knees. What are they called? Knees. And then push from your heels. I'm always 10 steps ahead in my brain. That's why it comes out funny. Stay really active through the toes. And you want to keep the knees right off the mat, very close to the mat so you feel your quads working. 3, 2, 1. Still holding. Go 2 in, 2 out. It's a quick step. Pick up the pace a little bit if you can. Whichever foot is leading, we're then going to switch and go to the opposite foot to lead. Keep the knees close to the mat so you're still feeling quads. Mine are burning. 3, 2, land wide stance, and walk it into a wide downward facing dog. You might have to walk back a little bit to cover your mat. Pull the heels down, pull the ribs in, do a nice slide through the lat muscle. You're bringing the elbow out, bringing the hand to the shoulder, to the back of the head. Now keep weight equal in the palms, lock into the core and the ribs, and do a double lat slide. Crown of my head is going straight to the thumb. I'm not coming out of my downward dog stance. I'm just focused on that drive through the side body. Keep pushing the floor away from you. 3, 2, 1. Lengthen the arms. Big roll into your plank. You're starting that roll so you can lift into your core, and then it's a big step across the mat. 3, 2. Bring it back to our hips distance. Bend the knees from there, Malasana burpee. Heels in, toes out. It's so much harder to do cardio. So much harder to do cardio without music. Now you're landing in your Malasana, and you can sink it down into your stretch. Harder without music and without you all in the studio pushing me. Lift up through the chest. Take a big roll. I like holding Sapana Mudra. Index fingers together. Left thumb over the right. Push through the feet as you inhale. Use your butt muscles to lift. And exhale through center. Inhale up. Exhale through. 2 more. Stay at the top this time. Pivot the toes forward. Bring the hands down to the heart. Roll heel to toe. Try to lengthen the time you're on your heel. Lengthen the time you're on your toe. Keep pressing the palms together. And then we'll unroll the foot completely. Open and close through the upper body. So I'm feeling my back muscles working, but I'm finding a crunch right here in my abdominals. 3, 2, keep the hands together. We're going to push weight back into our glutes, and then just gently, without moving the foot, shift weight forward. Push weight back into the glutes, and shift weight forward. Just feel a little hinge action happening in the hips. We'll go 2 more. Stay really planted through the foot. And then we'll do a little Malasana walk. We want to land with our weight back in our butt muscles. This hinge is coming right from the outer hip, the outer glute. Keep squeezing. 3, 2, toes stay forward. Inhale, palms rise. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, flat. Exhale through your chaturanga, cobra. And then to our downward facing dog. Take a breath, walk it out here. Inhale, right toes rise. Exhale as you open the hip. You can move the right ankle around. Keep equal weight in the palms so you're not falling over. And then we'll bring the right foot inside right palm. Lower your back heel. And inhale as you sweep the palms up overhead. Now envision the thumbs reaching to the wall behind you. You're going from the sternum. Actually, let's go from the navel all the way up to the fingertips. Keep reaching and lifting. You have it in your practice to pull the left heel up, squeeze it up. You can add a small pulse. You want to stay above the knee joint though, so you're not making a big range of motion. You're just holding that pulse right in the hamstring. Squeeze. 2, 1. That was tricky. Fingertips down. Now the back leg is going to extend and you're finding big circles on the right sitting bone. So don't lose the extension in the back leg. Use the push from those back toes to circle into this right hip. It's like a continual lunge in this right hip. 3, 2, 1. You're going to scoop up through the hips, tap the toe forward, and then back into your lunge. Notice my right leg is not really doing much, but holding my lunge. I'm just shifting weight all the way forward and then back, but I'm staying on one plane right here. I'm not lifting high and low. 3, 2. Now hold, left shin connects to the right calf. Try to bring the fingertips a little farther forward, get the weight stacked over the right toes, and you can add a little squat right here in this butt muscle. Keep squeezing. And then we'll release the left toes up for a stand split. Use the hands, pull yourself towards the standing leg. Keep breathing. And release the head. And then we'll exhale as we bend the right knee. The left toes are going down to a warrior 2 stance, which means the right heel is in line with the back arch. I'm going to push through this front side glute. Inhale to a reverse warrior. And exhale all the way down. Frame. Right foot goes behind the left. Circle the hips. As I'm circling the hips, I'm driving up through the core, pulling the inner thighs together. Keep squeezing. 3, 2, 1. And then take these big sweeping circles right to left through the legs. I'm actually crossing midline. If you don't want to cross midline, that's fine. but it is nice to drive up through the inner thighs. It's easier for crossing midline. Keep pushing the hands down. 2, and then we somehow have to get back to our normal stance, and let's meet in downward facing dog just to get there. Once your feet are in normal stance, roll it forward, flow through your chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, and exhale to child's pose. Flip the palms up, take a deep breath here. I always like to roll my forehead on the mat. Since there's no music today, it's going to be a little bit more right and left, I'm pretty sure. Just makes things a little easier. Let's drag it up. Inhale, exhale as you go cross body. Inhale, open to Parigasana. Exhale through center. Now I want you changing elevation as you do this. So you inhale, open and lift. Exhale, sink it low. One more each side. Last one. And now heels and toes out. I'm staying low, but my butt is actually off my heels. I'm holding this tucked through my core and then pulsing. As I pulse, I'm pushing to my quad muscles. So try not to hinge yet. Keep the chest really high. Try to keep the shoulders relatively over the hips. Squeeze your quad muscles. Push down to the tops of the foot. Don't lose the abs. 3, 2, 1. Now you're going to sink down, hinge, and move the hips right to left into figure 8. Now you're flexing more into the butt muscles. Keep squeezing. It's all about the squeeze. 3, 2. Now you're just going to hinge from this low position. My butt is still off my heels. I'm going to lift up, squeeze my hips in, push my hips back. Nice hinge. Feel everything working, coordinating. 2 and 1. We're holding at the top. We're going to stack the toes and rack it to Malasana. If that's hard, you just use your hands to meet me here in Malasana. From your Malasana, you're then going to walk it forward to our quadruped hover and do these big circles through the knees. My knees are not lifting up too high. I want to stay pretty close to the mat. Keep opening up the back space, pushing your hands into the floor. 3, 2, walk it into a forward fold. Inhale, fly the palms behind you. Exhale, take a bind to bring the forehead to the shin. You can release right to left. You keep the foot planted. You just move the hips right to left so you hit the IT band. And then we'll walk it back forward into our downward facing dog position. Inhale, left toes rise. Exhale to open the hip, move through the ankle. Equal weight in the palms. Keep breathing. And then we'll bring the left foot inside the left thumb. Lower the back knee. You inhale as you sweep up and overhead. Now the thumbs are reaching to the back wall. It's from all the way through the pelvic floor, even though I said navel last time. However low you want to go, up into the fingertips. Create this nice C curve through the body. If you have it in your practice to bring the back heel up, it doesn't hurt because I'm above my knee joint. So you have to have this flexibility here to be able to stay above that knee joint. If you're right on the knee joint, then you definitely don't want to be moving and pulsing here. It's too much pressure on the knee. But if you can stay above it and pulse, then you can just access straight to the hamstring. Also creates a much deeper stretch across the hip flexors. 3, 2, and releasing fingertips down. We'll take the back toes up. Now, as I move, as I circle, the circle is starting from those back toes. Notice my leg is not bending. I'm just pushing into the toes, and the circle is grinding all the way through this left butt cheek. Find all the muscles there in the left hip. 3, 2, and then we're going to add our movement all the way forward. Weight shifts to left leg, and then extends back to our lunge. So I'm not going high-low here. I'm trying to stay low. And start releasing some of the weight out of the fingertips so it's more weight in the left leg. Let's go for 3, 2, keep holding. Now shin goes to the back of the calf. Now add a little pulse here. You can walk the fingertips farther forward if you'd like. Hold in your core and your butt muscles. 3, 2. Inhale as you take it to stand split. Open up the left side leg. Reach the right heel high. And bring your forehead to your shin. I like to use my hands to pull myself down. So once my hands are connected to the floor, it incorporates my lats. It makes me go a lot farther. And then we'll hover the left knee until the right foot touches to our warrior 2 stance. Remember, left heel in line with the back arch. You inhale, sweep the palms up and overhead. Exhale, frame the left foot and then place it behind on top of the right. Now you can circle again. Make sure you're pushing into the toes. You're using the whole leg. Gaze should be in front of the fingertips. We're not far back. We're a little farther forward. 3, 2. Now instead of doing our cross step this time, we're just going to bring the knees straight down and cat-cow the spine. That's a lot of work on the back chains. So let's take a few breaths into the back body. One more time. If the heart rate is down enough, you can exhale, hold your exhale, try to squeeze and empty everything out. Inhale to release. Let's go one more. Exhale, empty everything out. And release. Step it to our downward facing dog. Shake it out. Make sure you're locked into your lats. If you want to move on from your shake, you can add a little Jackson now. Keep pushing the floor away from you. And then you can stack it up all the way to the fingertips. Just kidding, to the wrists, and then all the way back. So as I stack forward, this is weight bearing in the shoulders. I want to press to the upper back. I want to push the floor away from me. I want to do it really successfully. I want to lift up through my core. I'm not just dropping weight onto my wrist and my shoulder girdle. Keep thinking about pushing away from the floor and lifting up and away. Let's land in our wide straddle this time. Inhale to a flat back. And then exhale into heels and toes out and stretch right here. You can walk the fingertips back. You can push your body weight right to left. Drive the knees open. Don't let them fold into center. And then we're going to shift toes forward and go straight into a squat. Fix your pants if you need to. Don't move the knees front to back. Move the hips front to back. Keep planting down through the toes. Go for 3, 2, stay at the top. Inhale, palms rise. Exhale, right side trick, but I'm not going to go all the way to trick. I'm just going to do this little tug of war on the rib cage. Now, the whole time I'm doing this tug of war, I'm making sure my navel is drawing into my spine. I'm planting the feet down, roll the right inner thigh up, and then you're going to reach, bring both palms up and overhead and gaze behind you. That left side butt cheek, left side outer hip, left side foot is really pushing and grounding. And then we'll exhale. We're going to frame towards the front foot, bind to open the heart, and you have the option to stay half or go all the way down to a fold. Going down to a fold is going to work your stabilizers a lot more. So you got to make sure everything's working from the feet up. Now, if you can continue to hold this bind, bend into the right leg, keep the bind and use the bind by pushing them back in a way you're creating resistance. And then you can just do a little tap on the left toes. You can float it up and down. And you can stabilize at the top and hold a warrior 3. Warrior 3, the hips are squared towards the floor. So you'll feel this nice lock with the right femur into the hip joint. And that's where you'll find the butt muscles and you'll hold. Now using this bind here is really going to help you lift and open the chest because you're firing up the back muscles. So you're basically holding a back body crunch. It's helping you stay nice and light in the upper body. 3, 2, don't lose the bind, but keep the gaze down, bring the left knee forward. High, stabilize. Then we're going to hit our figure 4 stretch. We're still holding that back body crunch. Bring the shoulders back and away from the ears. Take a nice deep breath here. Now we're not losing the low body, but we'll gently release the bind. Circle out the wrist. It's morning time for me here, so my wrists are a little tender. Arms up and overhead. You can stabilize here, sink the sits bones down. You can add some movement, reverse rope climb to make it harder. 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to gently bring the right elbow towards the left knee and back through center. My gaze is staying in one spot to help me stabilize. Your right side butt muscle is hopefully burning a little bit. 2 and 1. Hold through center. Step up into a wide goddess. Reach the palms out and go high and low without lifting the feet. Knees are out wide. Your butt muscles are flexing. 2, 1. Stay at your lowest point. Bring the elbows down and roll into the back body. Roll into the shoulders. Now we'll turn the toes forward. Inhale, palms rise. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, shift all the way forward. You can either stay here, you can float one toe up and then the other, or you can do little toe taps to center, staying very light on the feet. 3, 2, land hips distance. Inhale, flat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, straight down, and then up to our boat pose. Squeeze your thigh to belly. So much of holding this pose is just feeling the thighs squeezing in and then everything lifting and lengthening up. If you can, with or without the hands, you're going to flex the foot and stack, and then back into Navasana. Let's do that a few more times. This is a lot of mobility on the hips, a lot on the ankles. So just play with this and see where you're at with it. You can also challenge yourself to stand all the way up through center, then back down into Navasana. Feel the connection of pulling the thigh into the belly. Once you're here, thigh to belly squeeze, and then lift and extend. Also super fun. Let's do it again. We're gonna land in Navasana. From Navasana, go down to your hovering straight to bicycle. Now our back is glued to the mat. Don't even let a piece of paper slide under there. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees into the chest. Let them roll around, loosen up the spine. And then we'll come back through center, cross the ankles, take it through quadruped. From quadruped, back to our downward facing dog. You can shake it out, you can release the hips any way you choose. And then from there, we're gonna roll forward. Fingertips, or gaze is over the fingertips, run knees straight into the belly. So holding in your shoulders, holding in your abs, your upper back. When you're adding this movement here, it makes you fire up all the muscles through the shoulder girdle, the core, the arms. The fingertips are connected to the floor. The knuckle joints are pushing down. Let's go for 3, 2, and 1. Stay in your plank position. We're moving inhale, exhale. Inhale the one side plank, and then exhale through center. Inhale opposite side. Exhale through center. 2 more each side. Inhale. Lift a little higher. Inhale. Last one. We're holding on this side. Doesn't matter which side. You can add a small pulse. Now this pulse is coming from this underside, the bottom part of my body. It's this side rib cage that's squeezing. It's contracting. It's this palm that is pushing to find that crunch. 3, 2. You're going all the way over straight to the other side, so I don't have to keep track. Squeeze up into the core. Keep the shoulders out of the ears. Remember, it's the bottom part of the body we're focusing on. 3, 2, 1. Hips up, downward facing. Bend the knees, step or hop to the top. Inhale, flat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, very slow roll up. You can bring the palms up and overhead if you'd like to. Gaze up, and then fold all the way back down. Try not to hinge here. You're trying to roll. So you're going vertebrae by vertebrae. You're going from the feet all the way to the fingertips. Feel the roll travel all the way through the body. One more time. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, this time flat back fold. Inhale, flat. Exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale through cobra. And then hold your cobra. Pull the shoulders out of the ears. Lock into the core. So a bigger push, bigger lift. Find your butt muscles. And you can float one leg and then the other. This is a lot for the low back. If you're not in a good cobra position, it's much more difficult to do this one. So if you feel like you're pinching your low spine, don't worry about doing this one. You really have to focus on keeping the length and then lifting. And then we'll release all the way down. We're going to triceps. So come all the way down, and then you're rolling the shoulders back and away. You're trying to get towards the 90 in the elbow and pushing. Keep squeezing. I want you to push the low body into the floor so you can really isolate just through the back and the triceps. 3, 2, keep the shoulders out of the ears. 1, and release it down. I want to mention that what tends to happen a lot, especially in our chaturangas, is if you're doing this movement and you feel the front of your shoulder, it's because you're continually putting pressure onto the front of the shoulder, which is why we're focused on just using the back and the triceps here, so we can learn to do our chaturangas using those back body muscles and not caving to the front of our shoulder and creating injury there. So let's take a few low back extensions. You're just lifting up and away, creating space. Last set, and then you can reverse plank or take it through downward facing, however you like. Find some circling across the hips. You want to release the sacrum again. And then we'll bend the knees, step and hop into a wide straddle. Inhale, roll it up. And then pivot left toes out for Trikonasana. So I'm starting with that tug of war through the rib cage. Push the feet down. It's like, ooh, nice pop. Like you're pushing the floor away from you, or you're pulling the feet away from center. Remember your navel's to your spine. 2. Now hold the reach, maybe go a little farther. This hip, this glute, this leg, super planted. You can bring palms up overhead and gaze up. And then we're gonna square ourselves forward. We'll square ourselves towards our left toes. Use that bind to open up the heart. You go halfway, or you can go all the way to a fold. A lot more stability work here. Squeeze into the hips, push the feet down, bring the shoulders back away from the ears. Keep breathing. Better look really good from this angle, upside down. My face, I mean. Hopefully no one watches this in their living room. Then into the front leg. Option 1, stop listening to Chi. Start floating the right toes. Don't lose the shoulder line, keep it drawing back and away. You can start lifting. Hiya, stabilize. Push the big toe down. Or you can hold in your warrior 3. This is obviously my less stable leg. Don't know why. So once you're in your warrior 3, you square your hips. Back heel is kicking towards the back wall. Use the bind to open up the heart. Keep squeezing everything. My triceps are burning. Now don't lose the bind. Keep the gaze down. Bring the right foot forward. Take a figure 4 stretch. Whew, this bind is a lot on this side for some reason. Keep holding. Try to sink it down a little bit lower. Inhale, palms up overhead. You can move the wrists around for a moment. Once you're stable here, sink it down even lower to make sure the leg's working. And then you can lift through the heart and do a little reverse rope climb. Use the ab muscles. Focus. Keep your drishti, your gaze centered. 2, 1. Hands to heart. Now you're crossing midline. This adds a much bigger movement. 3. Hold in your core. 2. Push your planted foot down to the floor space. 1. Open up into goddess. This time, tombes. That side felt so much harder. Your tombe is just an explosion out your toes. It's like a little firecracker went off at your toes and you're just kicking it off. You're just shifting your body weight right to left. Try to stay low, low enough that your muscles can't stop working. You can go doubles. 3, 2, turn the toes in, do a little jacks. You can do a single arm push-up overhead. 2, hold on, wide straddle, shake it out, high, low, and sink it down, press through the feet to bring it back up. Remember, your shake isn't actually a shake, we call it a shake, but you're really just shifting your body weight right to left. Good time to catch your breath. 2, and 1. Let's take it into a forward fold, any kind of movement you want here. Walk the hands to the top, step it to a normal plank position, and just hold plank. Let the heart rate come down. Make sure your plank is long enough that you have to use your toes. You have to use your core to hold. And if your head is sagging down like this, pretend like there's a book on the back of your head, and you have to actively hold the book up. Now the back line will be a little bit more active for you. 3, 2, left knee comes to center. Right foot's gonna reach across. Keep holding, creating a big C curve on this right side body into the right hip. And then we'll contract through this right side body as we float the right leg around and find a big sweeping circle. Don't lose your abs, so don't go into an arch here. Keep holding in your core. And we're gonna do a little internal rotation work on the femur. So my foot is flexed, my knee goes in, and then I push the heel up and out. And I hope you can see that angle on the camera. It's kind of an awkward angle, but it's like I'm pulling towards midline. Maybe if I go here, you can see my foot is on the outside of my body, and then I push. It's like an awkward donkey kick. Keep the abs in so you isolate the movement in the TFL, that tensor fascia latae right here. 3, 2, and then we're gonna relax it behind the left knee, open up the toes, and just take a very nice and easy knee stack stretch. And to go farther into that outer hip, to stretch it more, we'll just walk the hands gently towards the left side. And since this is not our final hip stretch, we're going to flex the feet, bring our back forward, and come through center. Tuck the toes, lift them up. Now circle just the rib cage. This is to practice connecting the hands into the floor. You have to find that connection to isolate the ribs here. Keep the palms pushing down. Keep hollowing through the underarm. 3, 2, and 1. Release it to the floor. Now let's bring the left toes out. Big sweeping circles across. Make sure you're not arching. You're keeping the ribs in. Equal weight in the palms. And this can be a super easy move, which is why you have to intentionally squeeze to make it work. So lift up high, go out wide, squeeze in tight, all of it. Let's go for 3, 2, lift the heel up, 1, and then you're going to that awkward. So you see me from this front angle, my knee goes in, my heel goes out. Switch it back through. Keep the focus on that outer hip. Don't lose your core, keep squeezing. Don't get lazy, keep the heel way out wide from the knee. Let's give you a nice little hip line. Squeeze extra hard. 3, just kidding, let's go a few more. I don't feel the burn quite the same yet. My right butt cheek is definitely still burning. 3, 2, now release it. Hi. Let's take a C curve if we didn't do that already. And then we'll just let the knee fold behind the right, open up the toes, take a gentle knee stack here. It's okay if the butt doesn't touch the floor. Releasing the breath, releasing anything you need to release. It's October now, feels like a good time to be releasing. Hands to the right side. Keep breathing into the outer left hip. I could think of some things I can release. And then exhale, keep the feet active, bring it back through center. Let's go one more time into our downward facing dog. We're gonna wrap it up because I'm not sure how long that was, but I do have another class that's gonna be coming in here soon. So I'm gonna start wrapping it up. Let's give it a little shake out. Let's do a couple of vinyasas just because they feel so good. Step or hop to the top. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Your vinyasa, your flow here is actually a really good releasing moment as well. So anything you're continuing to think about you want to release, let's just keep our focus on that while we finish 5 vinyasas. It's 1 breath, 1 movement. Inhale, palms rise. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale through cobra. Exhale to our downward facing dog. Bend the knees, step or hop up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll it up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Focus on your breathing. Inhale, palms lift. Especially on those exhales. Inhale to a flat. Exhale to our fold. Just kidding, I was too focused on my breath. Inhale through cobra. Exhale to our downward facing. Bend the knees. Step or hop up. Now you inhale flat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll it up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, palms lift. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, flat. Exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale through cobra. Exhale, downward facing. We're going to try to slow it down. Step or hop up. Inhale, flat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, hands to the heart. We have 2 more. Feel free to close your eyes. Inhale, breathe into it. Exhale into a fold. Keep flowing with the movement. Inhale, flat. It's the same long exhale as you go all the way down through chaturanga. Inhale through cobra. Exhale to our downward facing. Bend the knees, step or hop up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take it up. Last one, exhale, hands to your heart. Everything you've got. Inhale, bring the palms up. Exhale to a fold. Release. Inhale, flat. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale through cobra. Exhale through your downward facing. Bend the knees, step or hop up. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, bring it up. And then exhale, you can bring it all the way down, knees into armpits here. And we're just gonna hold for a few moments. If you can't get into that pose, this is fine. Or if you can't get into this pose, that's fine. You can go into Malasana with the toes open. It allows more space for the hips. If you can get the knees into the armpits, then you're actually putting pressure into the pit so you can roll out through your lymph system. Feels nice. A little massage there. And just let the breath come back down. Hopefully the heart rate came up a little bit with those vinyasas. Vinyasas are usually or typically done at the beginning of class, but I always love to do them at the end because it's so clearing. Especially in a booty practice, there's so much energy and so much stuff happening that when we can just like settle into those few vinyasas and really come into focus with our breath, that's actually my favorite part, or favorite place to put the vinyasa flow is right there at the end. You're going to start moving through the ankle. Maybe you feel a little back stretch here, especially if the knees are connected to the armpit. You can push the knees forward and it's going to kind of pull open the back line for you. Check in with the ankle mobility, maybe lean forward, lean back, lean right, lean left. Try to keep the foot on the ground the whole time so you're getting the stretch through the ankle. Another thing I love about those inhales and exhales is we really want to focus on the exhale for release. What's really calming for the body is the exhale. So inhales are happening. It's great to inhale, obviously, and fill up, but focus on those exhales, the releasing, the calming aspect of it. Okay, let's take it down for our big hip stretch. We're gonna go sits bones down, feet out wide. We'll do this little pancake stretch first. I like taking my hand to hip, roll in, get the knee towards a 90, and also push the hip down. And then just go opposite direction, hand to hip, knee in, pull the hip down. So the weight doesn't stay on this outer leg. Watch, you have to pull it down to feel a stretch. The stretch is actually for this side. So if you're not feeling it on this side, then you need to be pulling weight down farther. If you want to add on, you go into a fold on the front leg. Ooh, that feels nice on the glute muscles. We'll go one more each side. And then we're going to land in a pigeon pose. So basically the same thing. You can hold here in a 90. Keep this top foot flexed. If you want to adjust more towards a pigeon, the back leg goes long. Now, push the back leg down so that you're actively pushing to lift up and lengthen. Take some breaths at the top so you get this psoas. If you want, you can reach the palms up. I always like binding, it takes me farther. And you can also exhale and release at the bottom. Now the stretch is going to go to the other hip. Check in with this front foot still, keep it active. And then we'll use the hands, walk it back up. Now we want all the weight on this back hip so that we can adjust. You can take any movement through that front leg. And then land wide and go opposite side. I'm going to just squish myself back on the mat over here. So whether you want to hold the 90 or adjust yourself into a pigeon pose, you're pushing the back leg down so that you can lift up and lengthen. Maybe take a bind. Keep the front foot active. And then you can release and take a few breaths at the bottom as well. I could stay here all day, but we better come up and out of it. I guess you might have the choice to stay there all day if you want to. The left leg moves around. And then we'll come on to our backs. When you're on your back, legs up in the air, point flex the ankles. Bring the knees in. I'm going to bind to the ankle. If you don't want to bind, it's a bigger opener through the chest and the shoulder. If you don't want to bind, you just put the feet down. But if you're binding, you can add that pull, get the heels as close as you can to the butt, and watch my shoulder as I lift my hips. I then have to rotate my shoulders under, and I can lift higher. So make sure the shoulders are pushing down. The head is touching the mat, but the neck is not. Last exhale, you can release the bind, gently lift the heels and roll vertebrae by vertebrae. You can take a few rolls towards the sacrum here. And then we'll land with the tailbone down on the mat. Now we're gonna go twist with a leg extension. So as I bring my left leg across body, I'm gonna bind and extend my bottom leg, and then just go to the other side. Left hand binds to right knee, left leg extends. So you're just getting some mobile twisting here first. Oh, that feels great. And then we're gonna land on a twist. So you could either keep the bottom leg long or bring both knees up to a 90. You do, however, want to gaze in the opposite direction. Keep breathing and softening underneath the collarbones. Let the shoulders release. And then we'll bring the top knee in, come back through center, take a breath to neutralize the spine. And then let the legs fall, whichever one you did on the other side. Just remember, open the chest, gaze opposite direction, breathe into the ribs, soften into the shoulders. And then we'll come back through center. My favorite pose of all time, Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet are together, knees are open, massage the belly. Take the wrist to the hip line. On the exhale, you lock it out, find some cracks and pops. Not very many cracks and pops in the morning. It's a little bit different at nighttime. Now, feel free to take full Shavasana. I'm not there to adjust or massage, but pretend I am. Hopefully you have a nice song to relax to. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. I'm going to seal the class. You can just stay where you are. I'll just seal it with and without you. Inhale, palms lift. Exhale, hands to your heart. Thanking you for this practice. Thanking ourselves for our bodies. And thanking ourselves for showing up, because it's never as fun not in the studio. But I'll be here soon. So see you next time. House of Chi. 1, 2, 3. See ya.